afternoon. My name is Horace Horton, and I'm president of the Pine Tree Council. And I couldn't be more pleased than to be here today to recognize the men and women of our military and all that they have meant to scouting in the Pine Tree Council. We truly have the opportunity of a century with respect to the innovative readiness training program under the Secretary of Defense and the help that we have received from General Campbell and the Maine National Guard. It has truly been amazing what they have accomplished in this first year of work at Camp Hinds and Camp Bomazeen, and we hopefully will have a few more years of their services to do great things for scouting.
So this is the first year of a 5-year project that we're doing with the Boy Scouts of America. It's called Innovative Readiness Training. It's a joint mission between the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve, the Air National Guard, and the Army Reserves. We have different teams coming through every 2 weeks. They come out here to do their annual training, and this is how our airmen, Marines, and soldiers get their training, so when we send them downrange, they're prepared to do what we need them to do.
This is an extraordinary opportunity to both train the sons and daughters of Maine who serve in our armed forces and the National Guardsmen and reservists from all over our country to prepare themselves for service around the world as they help our youth be prepared for all of the challenges and opportunities that they will face in their lifetimes. The work that the National Guard and Reserve are providing not only provides them wonderful training opportunities to prepare them, but it also prepares an outdoor classroom for our scouts and many scouts who come to Maine from around the country. Building our camps is not going to only help this generation of servicemen and women and scouts, but it is going to benefit scouts and their families for many generations to come.
I think this investment is going to be terrific, not only for the Boy Scouts, but for the communities. The building of new leaders in southern Maine just couldn't happen without first-class facilities. It's also been an opportunity for the reservists particularly to get some practical training, but what they have done for the Boy Scouts in these facilities is absolutely wonderful.
This kind of exercise the Marines don't get to do a whole lot of, especially those in the reserves. So what we really try to capitalize on is this 2-week-long annual training exercise that lets them come to Camp Hinds here in Maine and do actual real-world construction projects.
My name is Staff Sergeant Luke Levine. I'm an engineering assistant, Michigan Air National Guard 127th Civil Engineering Squadron. I'm at Camp Hinds, a Boy Scout camp in Maine, a part of an innovative readiness training mission. Surveying the land, taking elevations so that construction projects can stay on task. This is an R8 surveying device. It's GPS operated. We're utilizing this to survey Camp Hinds, and in this device the whole map is laid out. We're able to expediently go around and do surveys to keep this process moving. The engineers, before we came out here, they had this whole camp designed and laid out the way they needed to. Our job is to take that design and facilitate their needs by laying out certain property boundaries, the limits of certain projects to keep them on task. This trip to Camp Hinds has been outstanding. I've been able to utilize the training that I received in tech school, and I've really enjoyed my work here and doing what I do for the Boy Scouts of America.
We are right now feeding 3 hot meals a day. I love being in services. One thing I do for me personally, I believe after working on long days, 12, 16-hour days, seeing a great meal will be prepared for them. They have to have a hot meal.
So this trip here gives me an opportunity to hone the food service area of that. At the core of it is basically having the fuel and the fire to get out there and do your daily job. That meal is one of those things that just gets you ready to either continue your day, start your day, or finish your day.
Being able to come out here and participate is a great experience. I can get some hands-on training on things that I don't do in the everyday world. Being a part of the team effort to do some of these projects is a great experience for me.
The staff cabin here behind me that we've been building, working on for the last week here at Camp Hinds. As far as building, we put the anchors in the ground, built the floor joists, put the cabin from the ground up. You can see the partially completed structure. It is have the Tyvek wrap around it. We don't have the roof completed yet, as you can see. We're waiting on metal roof for that. and we have this nice siding here on front that we're putting on and wrapping it around the back right now.
Really just getting hands on the equipment, feel comfortable with equipment that they're working with, their counterparts, is so very important. We expect them to take this just as serious as if they were performing duties in an AOR as well. We can come here and actually do what these guys were expected to do, trained to do. They can enhance their training here. And the other piece of that is the fact that now we have airmen that saying deep down they know that they're doing something good for the Boy Scouts of America, and you can't help but feel great about that.
So there have been a lot of different changes that happened at camp, and I think that all of them have affected me because I work at camp and it's all kind of one big happy family community. With the new ranges, more people can come and shoot. It makes it a lot easier to do the Scholastic Pistol program, especially with a lot of venture crews and different crews coming up to Camp Hinds to do different shooting experiences. The new road has made transportation so much easier, both on foot, on golf cart, on whatever you're driving in, and I think that the food trucks going down to the dining hall appreciate the wider road too. The training center, the new bunks, the new expansion, the fire escape, safety first, that's been a good addition, especially since a lot of the programs that we run in the off season are out of the training center, and especially now that the Scout offices are moving up there, the training center is perfect and it's all ready. The new projects that are supposed to happen at camp will be wonderful, especially I think the new dining hall. It'll be bigger, better. Basically, I love our old dining hall, but it's too small for the amount of people that we have coming to camp. And with the new dining hall, we can hopefully expand and more people can come to camp and eat inside. And everybody loves a new building and a new dining hall specifically. So I think that will be a really big attraction of our camp in the coming years.
The work of the IRT frankly amazed me and our volunteers and our board, and we have some extraordinary volunteers on our board who deal in this line of work. The fact that they could come in and change a crew every 2 weeks and remain on an aggressive schedule frankly surprised and amazed us all with the quality of their work. One group, though, who didn't change out every 2 weeks, who stayed the entire summer, was our services group, who cooked 33,000 meals, and they became a part of our family, as did all of the troops that came in over the summer. And our services people who cooked delicious meals all summer for 3.5 months, 33,000 in all, they really should be recognized for doing such a fantastic job. After World War II, the local Rotary Club helped us renovate and build the Rotary Center, which is now known as the Messer Rotary Training Center. They named the large room at the training center the Memorial Room after all of those scouts and scout volunteers who went away to World War II and never came home. All of our personnel who traveled from around the country to come to Camp Hinds ate 3 meals a day in the Memorial Room. Being a veteran myself and serving with many veterans and the veterans of families who are also scouting volunteers, to have our meals in the Memorial Room with the names of scouts and scouters who never came home from war painted in gold over the memorial fireplace has a tremendous meaning for me and a tremendous meaning for all of our personnel who worked at Camp Hinds over the summer.
I have a very long history with scouting, starting from the time that I was a Cub Scout many years ago. And I became an Eagle Scout in 1978 and was involved with the Order of the Arrow and all those kinds of things as a kid. And scouting really changed my life. I think that I would not be, well, I don't think, I know that I would not be sitting where I am today if it weren't for my involvement in scouting and the experiences and the knowledge that I gained from being involved in the movement. And as an adult, I felt that it was very important to give something back. So when my kids got to be old enough, my girls were involved in Girl Scouting. My wife ran the troop, and my son joined Cub Scouting, and I was his den leader. And then I later became the Scoutmaster of Troop 76 in Old Town, Maine, and I was there for 7 years. My involvement with the Pine Tree Council project started when, shortly after I was appointed to the position of being the Adjutant General, that I met with Eric Tarbox to discuss the initiatives that he had in mind for restoring and upgrading the camps for the council, and I offered him any assistance that we could provide. We have some pretty good capabilities here in Maine to do those kinds of things, and I told him that within reason, based on deployments and that kind of thing, we would provide whatever support we could. And from that time forward, we've had a great relationship. We've provided a number of different levels of support, from building a road at Camp Bomazeen to providing construction support at Camp Hinds and Camp Bomazeen. And actually, as of today, the Air National Guard is helping with computer and IT phone installation at Camp Hinds as the council moves its offices from Portland up there. This is a fantastic partnership that we have with the National Guard and the BSA, because it allows National Guard members to train on their jobs, equipment operating, construction, IT installation, transportation, all those kinds of things, while at the same time providing something back to the community. And it's gratifying to me, because that community entity that we are able to support is the scouting movement here in Maine, and to me that's just such a great partnership. Some of the highlights I think that I'd like to point out is the great work that the 262nd Engineer Company did last year on the road at Camp Bomazeen. It was a project that took a while, but I think the end result is going to be really useful to the council, and it was a great project for our soldiers. They got a lot out of it, and they especially enjoyed seeing the scouts and interacting with the leaders while they were out there. We're looking forward to the next year, because we have a number of other projects that we've lined up with Pine Tree Council to assist in this continuing effort to upgrade and improve the camps. In addition to that, we also have some projects lined up with the Katahdin Area Council, where we're doing some things up there at Camp Roosevelt. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody. This partnership between Scouting and the National Guard is one that is very traditional and historic. It's gone back many, many years, almost as long as the BSA has existed, and I think it's one that needs to continue into the future. This partnership between organizations which share values, which share a commitment to leadership and character building, and also this commitment to service to community. So I'm very excited about this, and I really hope that we can continue it well into the future.
Well, I would say that the work that was done at the camps with the help of the military would have to be described as transformative. And I mean that both literally, it really physically transformed the camps, but also on a more sort of theoretical basis, it transformed them, and it's going to bring a new energy and an excitement and kind of a critical mass to those places. And interestingly, we consider the Scouts to be a transformative organization. So those two ideas just kind of fit together pretty nicely. We hear the phrase workforce development tossed around almost everywhere these days. And when I think about this relationship between the military and the Boy Scouts and how that then weaves into the Maine economy and the Maine community, I just think of this as a fabulous workforce development opportunity. TD Bank employs over 3,000 people here in the state of Maine, and we're always looking for people who exhibit the kinds of qualities that both the military and the Boy Scouts do such a great job of training their people to be disciplined, to be principled, to be responsible, to be grateful, to work together in teams. The list just goes on and on and on. And so for the military to have helped the Boy Scouts, and then the Boy Scouts be able to turn around and become the kind of employees that we are going to so desperately need here in Maine over the next few decades, I just think the partnership has been a fabulous one.
I am particularly proud of what the military has meant to scouting at Camp Hinds and Camp Bomazeen. All of these things have turned our focus for scouting to the outdoors, to the challenges that face our young men and women today. I couldn't be more pleased for what we have accomplished, and I wish them the best of luck. It has been my pleasure to serve as your president, and I will continue to work so that we can continue our advancement for scouting in the years to come. Thank you very much, and I'm very pleased to have you here with us today.
Put 'em down and follow me. Pick 'em up, put 'em